Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you all for coming out here. I know people have taken time off school and out of work. It's great to see so many of you here today. We love doing these Supporters Club events. I'm sure I've seen many of you at our match day events, but it's always nice to do one of these and meet the coaches. And this is a great opportunity to meet our new coaching team. We've just had the squad announced, so I hope a lot of you have lots of questions for the guys on that. Also, the game's coming up. I hope you all got tickets in our pre-Christmas sale, and you'll all be there cheering Ireland on the day. So, without further ado, can you please welcome Joe Schmidt, Les Kiss and John Country. So, gents, we've plenty to talk about this evening. There was a great weekend of Heineken Cup Rugby. We've had the squad announced. Joe, we're going to give you a little bit of a rest because you did a fair bit of talking on the Late Late Show last Friday. So, and I'm going to try and not be Ryan Tubridy. So, John, you're in the hot seat. We're going to start with you, if that's okay. I know, coaches and players, it's always about the next game, but we just want to take you back for one question, and that's back to November. It was your first set of games involved in the Irish setup. Winning is obviously the first objective, but there was all sorts of other objectives as a new coaching team. In terms of November, how did that work for you in terms of getting your feet under the table, getting to know the guys, all of that kind of side of things?
Yeah, I think that was a big thing, just getting to know everyone. When you come in pretty cold like I did, only arrived in September, a couple of months later there was 3 big test matches, and I had to get to know all the leaders in the team. Obviously, I knew Joe from Super Rugby, working in New Zealand as well, but hadn't worked with Joe, so we had to, and Les as well. I knew him from Super Rugby as well, so we had to find a way to work well together as a group quite quickly, and I enjoyed that. And it was once we sort of probably got past a couple of camps beforehand, we just introductions with the players and that, and got ripped into the scrummaging and the driving lineouts and putting all the plans in place. Once I got to know the players, which is obviously really important because when you're working with guys like Paul O'Connell, Jamie Heslip and that, they're strong characters, and you've got to understand how they think. And so once I worked all that out, it was good. And obviously, although we weren't as successful as we wanted to be in November, I really enjoyed those 3 test matches working with these guys and the team.
Okay, thanks, gents. We're going to throw it open to the floor now, so if anybody has a question, just raise your hand, and Christina or Justin will bring a microphone to you. Okay, we have a question here.
Who's your main player?
Who's
your main player?
Sean O'Brien, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
If we break that in 2, your main forward and your main back, and we'll let John answer the first part first. The main forward.
You know their names? I've never met any backs.
He doesn't drink lattes, so he doesn't really fit with the backs.
I would allow myself to go and introduce myself.
You do know Brian O'Driscoll, you've heard of him?
Brian O'Driscoll, yeah.
He's like a flanker anyway.
I actually got a profile photo with Brian O'Driscoll on my phone, and all my mates back in South Africa text me and said, "Why'd you pick him? Should have been a forward." So yeah, I'm getting a bit soft. So who's the main forward? Jeepers, that's a hard one, eh? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Can I name 2 or 3? Okay, cool. It takes the pressure off. Ken Healy and Rory Best and Mike Ross.
There we go. All the props in the room are nodding, saying, yeah. The rest of the guys don't count.
Yeah, that's it.
So the big numbers, Joe, Les, the guys who kind of move the ball around in between.
Yeah.
Who buys the latte most of the time?
Yeah.
We'll give it to him.
They're all, they're like Tyrannosaurus Rexes. They've all got very short arms and struggle to get to the pockets when it comes to paying for the lattes. those latte trainings, I suppose, you know, when you look at it for his experience, and I don't know if you watched again that Cast game. I think seriously the result could have gone the other way. Apart from, I don't know if you remember Brian O'Driscoll doing a steal on the 5 metre line, 5 metres from the line. He'd made the tackle, he got up, he got the ball. You know, I think those aspects of his play are phenomenal. I do think that Johnny Sexton is probably one of the best organisers of a team in world rugby. He makes coaching a team easier because he makes sure that players keep their shape and their width. So, you know, there's those two guys, for example. So 5, we named 5. Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Just assuming that O'Driscoll really means it when he says he's quitting at the end of the season and Darcy will be gone soon enough. How do you see the future midfield options shaping up?
We are constantly looking around and keeping an eye on things, even at a younger level. I went down and watched the under-20s train. There are some. I tell you, their midfield makes Darcy and Dreco look like they've been malnourished all their lives. You know, and you know. Again, that's no disrespect to Aoife and Amy's cooking. I'm sure that they're doing the best they can. But in fact, I think it's the other way around. I think Brian cooks because Amy works harder than he does. But you know, at the same time, there's some good young kids coming through, and it's actually exciting when you get young kids coming through and you see a little bit of a glimpse of potential. And you think that, you know, if you can just fashion that player and get them some experience at the right level, there's a potential replacement. I wouldn't say a replacement in kind. You know, it's like what we were saying about Sean O'Brien. We're going to put a different player in that position, in the 7 position during the Six Nations, but he won't replace Sean O'Brien because he can't do all the things that he can do. You don't replace Brian O'Driscoll because they're once in a generation. You won't replace Paul O'Connell when he goes. You know, you'll get someone who will come in and build themselves into a player that's very capable at international level. But will they become world class? Well, you hope so. But those world class players are, you know, they don't come along all the time, and they're not present in every generation.
A couple of more questions we've won here.
What's the best, worst, and the weirdest thing about being the Irish coach?
Yeah, probably weirdest. The weirdest thing
That's
is...
come naturally for him.
Yeah. The weirdest thing is actually enjoying working with an Australian and even respecting him and even understanding some of the things he says. So that's reasonably weird.
My missus will back that up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the best and worst thing is game day. I love game day. I love the whole excitement and the energy around game day. I've never been at a game like the All Black game. I say that absolutely, honestly, as unbelievably disappointing as that was. And it's for Plum and I, that's our home country. It's where we came from. We probably want to win even more as a result of that. Because our loyalty was massively with the 25 guys who'd worked incredibly hard that week to try to be as competitive as they could be. But the whole environment in the Aviva, and it's a massive part of it is what you people create in the Aviva. That's when you know you're privileged to do the job you do. It's incredibly exciting, and you know you've got a massive responsibility. And I think on Friday night I tried to dispel the rumour that I watch rugby all night because post-game, it's not a big sleep time for me. It is, you're analysing every aspect and trying to find a couple of millimetres, because if we are to contribute to the game, it's Monday, Tuesday, because Thursday there's a bit of a shift and the players start to take it over, because and you'll all be looking at our physique and saying, thank God, we can't get on the field and play the game. And so they start to take responsibility on a Thursday. The captain's run is called the captain's run because the captain starts to really dominate and he takes it over. I watched the captain's run from the stand before the All Blacks game with Les and Plum, and we said, gee, I hope they do okay. And then the next day, it's about last messages, and yeah, that's the best and worst thing because you're really nervous, and you can't show that because you've got to exude confidence to the players. But you know, it's the best and worst at times.
One of the great things of the New Zealand game truly was one of the most amazing atmospheres, and I think a lot of people have said that here. It's been amazing, the atmosphere here against New Zealand. But in the other game, which is in Eden Park, when we played the World Cup, the amount of Irish in that crowd, and a lot of New Zealanders say it's one of the most amazing atmospheres they've experienced there when we played the Wallabies there and beat them. And I know all the Kiwis. Yeah, the Kiwis are on our side too. Yeah, they hate the Aussies, but there is massive support, and they do get up behind us, and it is great, and we'll find that again in the next World Cup.
Yeah.
I think that's a great note to end on, folks. A real note of positivity about the passion that we're all going to bring behind these men and the guys they put in the pitch on the 2nd of February. So, Joe, Les, John, thank you very much.